We're here to build ourselves a plane. So let's get our Mark 1 cockpit. I should take a look at this cockpit very brief. Well, number one, oh wait, parachute I want. That EVA pack isn't necessary. I always want to check the cargo, make sure that's not getting messed up with. But we've been using Kerbalism and playing around with the science, but Kerbalism also presents many, many, many ways for you to kill your Kerbal. So there is, this is the Mark 1 cockpit. It is unpressurized. That's something to keep in mind. So if I decided I'm going to launch this into space, something to keep in mind is that it is unpressurized. There is a configure the pod right here. Configure the pod. Oh, and this one has nothing. I have no ability to do anything with this pod. As we advance through the various command pods, we'll see that you can add in things like scrubbers for taking the carbon dioxide out. We can put in, oh, there are all kinds of life support things that go in there. Now all of a sudden I'm losing track of water recyclers, I know is one. There's all kinds of other things as well. And this has absolutely nothing. This is an unpressurized cockpit. So there's not much for us to adapt, but I'll keep in mind that later on we definitely do want to do some adaptations of that. Okay, let's build a plane. So we'll get started with the fuselage. I should have the Mark 1 fuselage. This provides a ton of liquid fuel. And one thing, way too much. I'm going to use the smaller fuel tanks for that. But one thing I could do is I could do that, just take it out. But then I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I also have this mod that allows you to edit the tanks that I can just go and delete that liquid fuel. And now this is just a fuselage part. And with no liquid fuel in it. So that's all I want it for. And I also want, I think, this guy too. And again, just as a fuselage part. We're going to edit the tanks. We're going to take out the liquid fuel and oxidizer. Like if I wanted to put in liquid fuel, I could select this to liquid chemicals, no oxidizer, hit the max button, add that, and now this is a liquid fuel tank. Max? It didn't max. I don't know. I didn't do something quite right because it didn't max it out, but I don't want anything. This is a really cool little mod to edit that. Okay, is there a nicer looking texture? Nah, not really. Okay, and then we're going to put some wings on it. And I have these swept wings, but if I put them on, I'm going with, they feel sort of big. I also have, yeah, these ones. I think I might go with these smaller wings. I think I like them better. There we go. We'll put some control surfaces on them. I am the worst for guessing which way to rotate these. There we go. And what I am thinking is actually putting them more towards the front. I want to keep the cockpit free. So I'm just going to go here. We'll tweak, we'll fine tune this in a little bit because at the back I want to make a bit of a tail. Let's put a nose cone at the very, very back. And all I've got, I don't have really small aerodynamic parts. I do have these guys and this. So I'm going to use this to make a, I think that's going to work. I think that'll be all right. Some people I know like this part. This is the tail connector, which I know I don't really like this part. I find it really awkward to use, this big long tail thing. I like the one that sort of slopes up that you get later, but right now, actually, I think I'm fine just like this. I think so. Okay, and what else? This is, I'm barely getting going here. Let's actually do some tweaking. Yeah, I'm noticing that these wings are slanted backwards. So let's see if we can straighten them out a bit. Okay, I'm going to try and push the button. 2! There we go. Look at that. Like that. Looks good. Let's put on the mass, the center of lift. You want this center of lift just a little bit behind the center of mass, so this can all be a little bit more forward. And I can see a little bit up too, but what I might just do is move these ones up and in. And then these maybe a little bit more forward. A little bit down. And these a little bit up. That's looking better. And this is a rough tweak. We'll have to do a final tweak. It's kind of an ugly thing right now. Now, I do want to think about, because there is... Oh, you know what this doesn't have? It has no engines on it. How's that for a thought? How about some engines? So, we do have the Mark 0 fuel cans. So I'm just going to put on 2 of them. And then put another pair behind them. And don't be like this. There we go. And then I do have the Juno liquid fuel engine. Remember, this thing is supposed to break the sound barrier. I'm hoping 2 engines like that will be enough to do it. These being air breathing engines, they also need air intakes. That would be under aerodynamics. Of course, that's going to mess up where the center of mass is, so we're going to have to do some adjusting again. We'll do that in just a little bit. I also have like all of these props and stuff. I've never really played too much with the propellers and helicopter blades and things. It's definitely something I should... I do have the rotors now. Something to think about. But I don't want to do that live. Maybe someday I'll play with it on my own and really get my head around figuring them out. Okay, so... Oh, science. That's what I was getting at. I can do a crew report with this. I can also do a lot of, if we get into here, the science stuff. There is a lot of science I can do. Like, for instance, I've yet to do an atmospheric pressure scan. I can do the temperature scans. I can also do the telemetry reports and all of that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to stick a hex probe core at the back. I'm going to put this back on, and then we're just going to hide that hex. Oh, wait, I want to modify it first. Because I want to collect some science while we're doing all this, not just break the sound barrier. Let's put the data capacity right up. And we got, yeah, temperature scan and telemetry report. That sounds good. We'll do both of those, get them both to waiting. And then we'll slide this back in to hide that. So nobody sees it. We don't know it's there, doing its science-y thing. There we go. All right. Let's see. What other science do we have? Well, we have a pressure scan. Where's our science stuff? The press map barometer, which I have yet to use. So we'll put that on there as well. We also have a telemetry, temperature, and a radiation scan. We'll do that as well. Haven't done these in the lower atmosphere yet. I've been really concentrating on space. So might as well add those on there. And while I'm thinking about it, in cargo, if I go to the cargo section here, oh, do I not have science? Oh, I don't have the science experiment thing yet. Okay, so I thought I had that little EVA science experiment thing you can do. So this is going to be the only science we can do. Let's turn that on. Turn that on. As far as electricity goes, these engines will be generating... What do they generate? They generate 1 electric charge per second. And according to this, we're only using 1.15 electric charge per second. So the engine should be fine when it comes to providing the electricity that we need. And electrical storage, we have 240 units of electrical storage. That should be fine as well. So I think this is looking kind of okay. All right, let's see here. I gotta still tweak the control surfaces, but I got a feeling my mass and lift are messed up because I just added engines on. Yep. So we're gonna be moving. Let's move these engines forward to bring the mass forward. And let's move these guys back, because the lift has to come behind here. Let's move these fellas back. And I don't want it to look too stupid. Not looking that stupid yet. Not yet, anyway. And then finally, I think we'll just bring this mast forward just a little bit. Again, I want to keep that hatch free. I want Jeb to be able to get in and out. Well, Jeb, or I don't know who's going to be the pilot just yet. Just assuming Jeb. That might not be a fair assumption to make. Let's go with that. I think that should be good. Thrust to weight is 1.05. That should be okay. Alright. Landing gear. Now the only landing gear we have are these spindly ones, which I honestly don't trust. And you want to place the landing gear so that they're a little bit behind your center of mass, so that the aircraft can pitch up on the runway and sort of pivot on these things. But you don't want the thing to fall over, obviously. These are, you can see, need to come this way. Oh, that looks good. Maybe move them, well, we'll see. And we'll put on this front one, the steerable one right there. And let's take the mass off for just a little bit. I want this thing to be pitching very slightly upwards on the runway. So what I'm going to do is get right down here on the bottom here. And I'm noticing, looking at what wheels touch first. And I'm seeing the steerable landing gear is touching before these guys. So this should be pitched up a little bit on the runway, which is what I should want. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm starting to get something that might actually do what I'm hoping it'll do. Whoa, come back. So let's see, this should be. Oops. Just gonna, that's just gone into the textures there a little bit. So just pull that up just a bit. Come on. There we go. All right, we need two. Control surfaces. So these guys are just going to be handling roll. You always want to, whoops. You always want to isolate which control each control surface is responsible for. And I always find for me that the authority limiter always feels too high. So I'm going to turn it down to 5 degrees so they don't. I always find my planes are just really twitchy. At least my smaller planes are. These elevators at the back are for pitch. Again, I'm going to turn that authority limiter down to 5. We'll see how it works. We're going to give this a test. And the rudder is there for yaw. And it's... turn it to 3. Like, that's a huge rudder. In fact, maybe we can make this look a little bit better by just... look better if I just tuck it in a little bit. I don't know. Oh, lights! Antenna. That's a very good point, Rob, is do I want to put an antenna on it for transmitting the science? And the answer to that question is no, actually. What I want to do is I want to collect all the science and bring it back. And I did a little bit of figuring while I was doing all this, and I figure I need about 9.5 megabytes of storage capacity. And the... if I can get back here, that this guy is at 8 megabytes of storage capacity, and if I take a look at the cockpit, it should yes, it has data capacity as well. I'll put it up to 4. That gives me 12 megabytes of data capacity. I should be able to save all the data locally and then just bring it back rather than transmit it. So I'm not going to put an antenna on there. I just find that's easier, just to make sure you can store all the data that you got. And if you look at any particular experiment, like if I look, for instance, at the thermometer, it tells you, or the barometer here, it tells you, right, that this is 3.5 megabytes of data for doing one experiment. So you can work out how much storage you need. I think, oh, navigation lights, that's what I want. Let's put on some navigation lights. So 2 times symmetry. It's being a little bit goofy, so we're gonna have to rotate there. Rob is getting mad at me for not using keyboard shortcuts for those up there. Here, I'll use a keyboard shortcut now too. There we go. It is easier. It's just habits. You know how it is. Actually, I can see that it needs to rotate just a little bit more this way. Oh, that's looking okay, I think. I think so. And we're going to remove the symmetry like that so that these two are independent, because this one should be, let me get this right, this one should be a green light. And we're going to make it blink. Put the blink on. And this one on this side should be a red light. And we're going to put the blink on that one. And we'll put on another pair of red and green lights. How about here? I think so. There. We'll change that to a white texture. Again, we'll remove the symmetry. We will make this one a green light and not have it blink. And this one a red light. Okay, and then finally we'll put a blinky white light on the bottom of the fuselage here. Right about there. Again, make that white. We'll put the blink on. This one's going to stay a white color, and we'll put the blink to half a second, so it'll be a little faster of a blink period there. It's because we need lights. How to have lights. All right, this is the Juno. Whoops. I'm going to name this craft after the engine, so this is the Juno 2. Whoops, I had cap lock on. Juno 2. Save this. Red on the left, green on the right? Is that the way it works? I thought it was red on the right and green on the left. I'm thinking of boat. I know about boats. Are planes different from boats? John says red on the... Okay, so this one should be red. And this one should be red. No, wait. Red's on the left. This one should be green. This is on the right. And this one should be green. Okay, I'll trust you. I'm pretty sure with boats it's the other way around, though. But what do I know? I don't know much about planes, I'll admit that. Okay. It'll still be a while till we have a space station there, Mr. Nico. Again, with the probes before crew that I do have installed here, I really have limited capacity to put Kerbals. In fact, right now I still have pretty much zero capacity to put Kerbals in space. Okay, let's simulate this. This is definitely, now that there's a Kerbal involved, this is definitely something. No, boats are the same. I gotta look at a boat. Alright, brakes on. Again, this is a simulation mode, so if this crashes and goes horribly wrong, that's, you know, this is just a simulation. Jeb isn't dead. Okay, and can Jeb EVA? Yes, Jeb can EVA. That's good. Let's board again. Okay, I'm going to put the view on chase. We're going to turn up our throttle. We'll put our lights on. Let's see how our lights came out. Got a flashy green light, little green light. Yeah, sure. It's good enough. Red lights. Yep, okay. Let's put this on terrain. There we go. Okay, so brakes off. Punch this. Punch it. There we go. Let's see how this does. We're not going to try and break the sound barrier right now. All I want to know is, does this thing fly decently and safely before we go out for real? So there we go. We're taking off. So far, so good. All right. Let's try the roll. Roll seems good. pitch seems good. I'm kind of happy with this. Do a couple of fly around the KSC things here. Oh dear. There we go. I'm okay. I'm in simulation mode, so I'm also take advantage of it and fly a little bit more recklessly than I otherwise would. Because once we take this out of simulation mode, whatever happens, happens unless it is a Kraken attack. Okay, I'm just going to test if this lands. Yes, that's right. The red lights and the green lights have to do with right of way. That is true for boats as well. So, sorry, I'm landing and I want to... It was a lovely conversation, but I do have to... So, you know, if the vessel on the right has the right of way, so that has to... And if you see a red light, that means you don't have the right of way. That's how that's all supposed to work. Okay, let's put this down on the runway. Okay, I'm pretty pleased. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm braking hard and I'm not getting some... Oh, I can see. One thing that always bugs me about... Look how the... I think I need to adjust the spring strength on this. Oh wow, this thing doesn't want to stop. There. See how the wheels kind of bug out? I hate that. So I'm going to get into spring dampener. I'm going to take it off of auto. And I think the spring strength should be higher. Yeah, let's put that at 2 1/4. And let's put the dampener up while we're at it too. I don't know why stock landing legs are also dorky like that. Okay, let's end our simulation. Let's fly this for real. That was really nice. Maybe you were hoping for a boom, but we didn't get a boom. So if you were hoping for a boom, I'm sorry, I have disappointed you. Okay, we are going to dampener controls. We're turning up this. I think I had it at let's put it at 2. And this at, I don't know, 1.5. And that should be the same on the other side. And let's do the same with the front ones. Spring dampener control, spring strength at 2. I don't know why the stock... Let's have these the same. Yeah. I don't know why stock landing gears are so spongy.